Welcome to Doodlebugs once again, everyone. I'm Miss Erin from the Cedar Rapids Museum of Art. And today we are talking about Vincent Van Gogh, or if you're from Europe, they call him Van Gogh. But today we're going to be talking about a little bit of his landscape paintings. I know we've talked about landscapes in the past, and a little bit about portraits, which we've been doing all spring. So while we're getting started, I'm going to have everybody introduce yourself so that we can see and hear you. So if you're on mute right now, make sure to unmute when you say your name. So I'm going to start off with my friends over at the libraries. So over at Hiawatha Public Library, we have...
Hi, Alicia here from Hiawatha Public Library. Thank you for joining us. And thank you, Miss Erin, as always, for Doodlebugs.
Thank you. And then from the Marion Public Library, we have...
Hi, everybody. It's Miss Lara.
Hi, Miss Lara. Welcome back. It looks like you have a mysterious background, and it's super awesome because the library is a mystery right now.
Yep, you're not seeing behind me the very gloomy park that I'm sitting at.
Oh, it's gloomy because it's raining today, and that is my favorite thing. So I happen to love it. All right, over at Miss Sheena's house. Oh, let's see here. Who do we have at your house?
So go ahead.
I'm Elena. This
Hi,
is
Miss
my,
Elena.
Do you want to tell them your
I
name?
think she's getting a
Say,
bit
I'm
shy.
Madeline. Okay.
She's
This is Madeline.
she's getting shy right now. Usually she's kind of talk.
We all have those days.
But
All right, welcome back, ladies. And let's see here, from Aria and Thea's house. Can you introduce yourselves?
Can you say your name?
My name is Daria. My name is Thea.
Welcome, welcome. It's good to have you. Oh, I see you have artwork in the background too. Nice. This will be fun for you. And then finally, we don't have a picture for the Ewoks house. By the way, I still absolutely love that name. But would you like to tell us your names?
Go ahead. You want to tell me your name?
Evan.
Evan, welcome, welcome. And we may have somebody else from your house eventually, I hear. So if that happens, awesome. Just say hey when you join us. We'd love to see or hear you when you join in. So today, as I mentioned, we're going to be talking about Vincent Van Gogh because today is his birthday. Yay! I love when our artists have birthdays. I feel like we should have a cake decorating class sometime. Wouldn't a Van Gogh decorated cake be amazing? Oh my gosh, that would be super cool. Okay, so I'm going to read us a story first. Now, I mentioned this last time because there are so many fun books about Vincent Van Gogh. I was really having trouble deciding which one to read. So I picked one, but I have two others. So while we're making our art project, I might just read a little bit of another book later. So for now, this is our story. I'm going to change the view so you can see it better, hopefully. Let's see here. Okay, here we go. It's called Katie and the Starry Night by James Mayhew. He's actually written several books in this series about Katie when she goes to the art gallery, and they're so good. So if you haven't seen any of these books before, go check them out. They have them at the libraries. This one is all about Van Gogh's paintings. It's about 5 of his masterpieces. He painted a ton more than 5. So this is just a tiny little snippet of what he created. So here we go. Katie and the Starry Night by James Mayhew. Katie and Grandma loved to go on trips together. Sometimes for a treat, Grandma took Katie to the art gallery. If you haven't ever been to an art gallery before, may I suggest a visit to the Cedar Rapids Museum of Art? We have lots of galleries full of art. One day they went to see some paintings by Vincent Van Gogh. Katie's favorite was called The Starry Night. It looks magical, she said, like a dream. Talking of dreams, said Grandma, I could do with a nap. She's sitting down on a bench there. It looks like she might be able to take a nap right there. Katie looked more closely at the picture. The stars seemed to be moving. What? Grandma was almost asleep, so Katie quietly climbed through the picture frame and into the painting. I love that. Doesn't it look like the stars are actually swirling around and moving? Can you really step into a painting? I wish you could, but no, you can't. So this is definitely not a true book. It's a made-up book, but I love to use our imaginations for this kind of thing. The dazzling stars sparkled and swirled. They looked close enough to touch. So Katie reached out and grasped one. I must show Grandma, she said, putting the star safely in her pocket. Oh, how cool would it be to be right in on that painting? So many stars. I have heard very interesting things about the immersive Van Gogh exhibit that's been up all over the country. It seems like you can walk into the painting from that. So maybe there is a way you can step into a painting. Jumping back into the gallery, Katie saw some other stars twirling after her. Perhaps they want to play, she laughed, jumping up to catch them, but she couldn't quite reach. I need something to stand on, said Katie. She saw a picture called Vincent's chair. That's perfect, she said. So there's one. And then there's Vincent's chair. It's a little dark in this picture. There we go. You're going to notice in a lot of Vincent's paintings, he likes to use really rich colors, and especially yellow and blue. That's why I wore these colors today. But keep an eye out for those colors in particular. Katie quickly dragged the chair out of the picture as more and more stars tumbled into the gallery. But even standing on the chair, Katie couldn't reach all the stars, and some floated into another picture called Noon. She decided to chase after them, and so she climbed through the frame. There we go. They're asleep on a hay bale, but it's called Noon. So do you think maybe it's nap time? A young couple were napping in the shade on a hot summer's day. The stars tumbled into the sky and night soon fell upon the countryside. Well, this painting is called Noon. Are there supposed to be stars? No. Uh-oh. The woman whose name was Marie woke up. Oh, look at all the stars, she said. Surely they don't belong in this painting. No, said Katie. Would you help me catch them? Climbing up the haystack, Katie and Marie had a wonderful time jumping to catch the stars and landing in the soft hay. I imagine it would be a lot like when you jump into a leaf pile. It sounds like so much fun. But when they jumped back into the gallery, the spinning stars slipped through their fingers once again. We must get them back in their painting before the gallery guard sees that they're missing, said Marie. But even Marie wasn't tall enough to catch them. Look, there's a ladder, said Katie, spotting a picture called The Olive Grove. She quickly clambered through the frame. There's her and Marie. And then the olive grove. Let's see if I can get some light on it there. There we go. So olive trees in a grove. Oh, there's one of Vincent's self-portraits too. Women were gathering olives from a tree. Please, can I borrow your ladder? Asked Katie. I have to catch some stars. The ladies laughed. Ma chérie, you cannot catch stars. You can with a ladder, said Katie. Come and help me. Do the swirly brush strokes in this painting kind of remind you of those swirly stars in Starry Night? There's a lot of swoosh paint strokes. That's one of the best things about Van Gogh. You can see exactly where he put his paintbrush. They all raced back into the gallery, and the olive pickers held the ladder steady as Katie climbed up to catch the twirling stars. It was tricky work because the stars wouldn't keep still. The more Katie tried to catch them, the more they spun away. The stars were drifting towards another painting called Fishing Boats on the Beach. Come on, we must catch them, said Marie. They all climbed inside. Uh-oh, they're gonna climb in another painting. Ooh, in the picture, the stars were caught on a breeze and twirled out to sea. How will we reach them now? Asked Marie. Let's take a boat, said Katie. Oh yes, a boat ride, the olive pickers giggled. Oh, more swirly paint strokes, brush strokes. They sailed across the sea as the stars sparkled in the sky. Oh, what shall we do? Worried Marie. The stars are so high. Katie saw a big fishing net in the boat. Let's try this, she said. They all threw the net as high as they could and caught the stars. At last, said Katie, as everyone cheered. I like how the people who made this book made the words in the story follow the swirls in the ocean. Back in the gallery, they all quickly ran to the Starry Night picture. Now we can put the stars back before the guard finds out, said Katie. They threw the stars into the sky, but it didn't quite look right. What's that in your pocket, Katie? Asked Marie. My star, said Katie. I wanted to show it to Grandma. But it might flow away again, said Marie. Put it back in the Starry Night, and then you can see it whenever you want. So Katie threw the star up into the painting. That looks pretty cool. Thank you, everyone, said Katie. We did it. And now we must return to our pictures too, said Marie. Au revoir, ma chérie. Goodbye, Katie called. Now Starry Night looks right, but she still has the chair. They're going to have to put that away. And the ladder and the olive pickers and the fishing net, all of those have to go back. Oh, Katie put the chair back where it belonged just in time as the gallery guard came past. Phew, said Katie. Hello. Good afternoon, he said. Then Grandma woke up. Oh, I must have nodded off, she said. I had a lovely dream about stars. Katie giggled. That night, Katie and Grandma looked out of the window. It was a beautiful starry night. The stars look almost alive, said Grandma. Perhaps they are, laughed Katie. Grandma smiled. Perhaps, she said. Good night, Katie. They look a little bit like Vincent's painting, don't they? And then in the back of this book, like most of James Mayhew's stories, they show you all of the paintings again and all of the other books he's written. But these are the 5 paintings that were in this story, and it tells you a little bit about each one of them, which is cool. Now, I have a little thing to show you before we do our art project. It's a little trick for your eyes. So if you want to hold on for just a second, I will share my screen. Here's the deal. I'm going to show you something on your screen so you can look at it. It's a little bit hard to do at first. Let's see here. There's sound. Okay. So if you can see this, I'm going to turn this, it's like a little video. I'm going to turn on the video part, and there's a dot right in the middle of the swirl. I want you to watch the dot right in the middle. Okay. Ready? Watch the dot. If you have to blink a bunch of times, that's okay. But keep your eye right on the dot in the middle. And then it's going to change in a couple of seconds into Starry Night, and watch what happens. Watch the center, and did anything happen to Starry Night? Is anything happening on your screen? If you were watching the center of the swirls, it kind of makes it look like the stars are moving too, just like the swirls were. Yes, Miss Milena.
Well, I couldn't quite see that.
Tell you what, we are going to post it later on the museum's social media. So that way, if you want to, you can look it up again and watch it again. But you can also find it on, if you just do a Google search. Okay, so we are going to go to our art project now. So if you have your art supplies ready, get those out. I'm going to get my paper out. I think I like to start with pencil because that way I can change it if I decide to. But we're going to practice a little bit making the swirly stars swirl just like Vincent's did. So just practice a little bit. It can be like on the back of your paper that you're going to paint on. It can actually be on the front of the paper you're going to paint on because you'll just paint right over it. But very lightly, I just want you to practice making wavy lines and swirly lines so you kind of get used to how those look, how your hand has to move to make those marks. Just practice a little bit of that. And then while you do that, I'm going to show you another cool little something, some self-portraits that Van Gogh created. So, oops, not that one. Let's try this again. Because like I said, he did lots of landscapes, which are what we looked at. But he also did self-portraits or pictures of his own face. So this is 3 of them. He did a lot more than that. And then here are 3 more of himself. And they're all very different, but you can see that he has red hair. And he does have freckles, although you can't really see them in these paintings. So I love that you can see his different outfits. Some of them he's wearing a hat. Some of them he's not. Some of them he has a beard and some he doesn't. And this one in the center, he actually has his ear covered up because he cut his ear. He was having a really rough time, and that seemed like it made sense at the time. So sadly, he cut his ear and it hurt, and he had to bandage it up. So when we're done making our swirls, we're going to get the paints out, and we're going to do a self-portrait just like Van Gogh did, but we're going to start with the swirly background. So this is going to be tricky for me because I'm going to have to hold it up so that you can see it. Yours are going to be easier because you don't have to hold them up. But I'm going to scoop out a big old blob of some blue paint. Blue because the night sky is blue. And I'm just going to make a big blob without dripping it everywhere, hopefully. I'm just going to make smooshes. I'm not going to do a whole lot of painting with my paintbrush. I'm just using the brush to get the paint on there right now. I'm going to swirl it around, and I'm using a lot of paint, lots and lots, because that's what Van Gogh did when he made his paintings. Sometimes he would squeeze it straight out of the tube because he wanted lots of paint on his painting to start off with. But here comes the fun part. If you have a spoon or a fork, you can use that instead of your paintbrush and make your wavy swirls. You can use it to spread your paint all over your paper. Now, the blue part, since that's our night sky, you're going to use a lot. So I'm going to try to get as much blue paint on here to start off with as possible. I'm just going to scoop a whole bunch of it on. I may also squeeze it out of the bottle just like Vincent would have done, and then swirl it all over my page to cover as much of it as possible. This is one of those paintings where you can scribble and it totally works, by the way, which is always fun. So I have lots of blue. I'm going to just make some swirls, make it go all over the place. Don't worry if it's perfect. If it doesn't look like you want it to look, you can just swirl it around some more. I'm going to add some more paint to cover more of my paper because I want my whole sky blue. Ooh, that's a lot of paint. Okay. And I'm going to use my brush to swirl it around because I have so much it's going to drip. Ooh. This is a messy one. My blue paint is really dark blue right now because they're so thick. Ooh, you can even see the drips. That's kind of fun. Okay, I'm gonna get it as close to the edges as I can, but still leave myself a place to hold it with my fingers so that my fingers don't get too painty. But the beauty of this paint is that it's washable. So if it gets on my fingers, well. Okay. I'm not going to do the bottom of my painting, partly because I want to be able to hold it up and not get my fingers in the paint, but also partly because I have something planned for that part later. So the next part is I'm going to take a different paintbrush or clean this one off. I have to rinse my blue paint out of my brush. That's a lot of blue paint. Okay, so I have a mostly clean brush now. I'm going to scoop up some yellow paint and plop it right on top of the blue. I'm not going to mix it in because I want it to stay kind of on top of the blue without mixing together. I don't know if you've done this before, but what happens if you mix yellow and blue together? Do you know what happens?
Yes.
What happens?
It makes green.
Yes. Are stars green?
No.
Not
And you know
usually,
what
no.
I did for the moon? I actually made it mix in so that way it makes kind of the glow around the moon.
Nice. That will work very nicely. So all I did was take that big blob of yellow that I put on there, and I put my spoon on it, and I went, and I made a swirl, just like we practiced earlier with our pencils. If you want to, instead of dropping drops with your paintbrush like I did, you can use your spoon and just scoop it up, because you can use a lot of paint like this, and plop. Plop. And now swirl. Ooh. It is kind of mixing together, so I think maybe I'll add some more yellow. And I just got paint on my arm, because that's how that works. Maybe a plop here too. So I'm going to use my spoon again. I'm going to drag it all the way across for some longer swirls. If you have white paint, you can use white along with yellow for your stars. That's kind of fun, because stars are kind of white and yellow. You can mix some of it together to make the lighter swirls too. Now, I'm going to switch because I got to clean off my spoon. I'm going to put white in the middle of the yellow and make it even lighter in the front of it. Make some swirls. Maybe I'll go this direction. Just keep in mind, as you're swirling and mixing your paints together, the more you swirl, the more your colors might blend together, and you might end up with not very easy to see stars. So if that happens, stop mixing and then just add a little bit more yellow or a little bit more white on top without mixing it together. You can use a brush to do that, or you can use your spoon, whatever you want to. If you have a fork, you can actually use that to make your swirls too. Let's see if I can do this on the screen where you can see it. Can you see the streaks it made in there? You can use that for really fun swirlies. Oh, I just put my hand in it. I love the swirls. Now, just like Milena said, if you want to add a moon, like Vincent did, you can do that. Ooh, I have so much paint on here, it's dripping off, you guys. What Vincent did at the bottom of his painting, here's a teeny tiny version of it. He added a little town. So you can see there's little buildings down there, but it's dark out, it's nighttime. So they're pretty dark, and there's little lights in the windows that you can kind of see. And then on this side over here, there's some really tall trees right in the foreground. So if you want to add some trees, you can do that too. I need paper towels to clean myself up. I'm getting a little too messy. I don't want to wind up with paint in my hair. It's happened before. All right, so while you're painting, I want to show you one other little thing. This thing is super painty, you guys. I made a big old mess. This book, we talked about it last time. It's one of my favorite books. It's one of Miss Laura's favorite books. So while you're painting and swirling and adding paint and stuff, I'm going to read this to you really, really quickly. It's called Vincent Paints His House by Ted Arnold. And as you can see, this is Vincent, but it's a goofy picture of Vincent. I love that. There is a painting that Vincent did in real life of his house in Arles, France, and it looks a little bit like this. It's a yellow house. So I thought this was such a fun story. Time to paint the house. Said Vincent. He's looking at his paints. Ooh. Vincent could not decide what color to use. I don't think you paint your whole house with just this much paint or a tiny little brush, but it's Vincent. He has an artist, and so he has artist supplies. Maybe I will just paint it white, said Vincent. This is him imagining his house white. White is nice, said Vincent. There's so many different colors of white. I don't know if you've ever noticed this. Snow, ivory, titanium, cream. Stop, said the spider. This is my house, and I like red. Red is nice, said Vincent. He has rose, crimson, scarlet, vermilion. That's always a fun one to say out loud. Vermilion. Stop, said the caterpillar. This is my house, and I like yellow. Yellow's nice, said Vincent. He has canary, amber, lemon, ochre. Oh, a lot of different yellows. Stop, said the beetle. This is my house, and I like purple. Purple's nice, said Vincent. Grape, violet, manganese, lavender. There's some more fun ones to say out loud. Manganese. Stop, said the bird. This is my house, and I like blue. I like that he's painting from his nest. Blue is nice, said Vincent. Royal, ultramarine, cyan, cerulean. Oh, aren't those fun to say? I love that. Stop, said the butterfly. This is my house, and I like orange. Orange is nice, said Vincent. Henna, cadmium, tangerine, peach. Cadmium. Stop, said the snake. This is my house, and I like green. I like that he's holding the brush with his tail. Green is nice, said Vincent. Viridian, olive, emerald, chartreuse. Ooh. Viridian. How much do you love saying that? Chartreuse. Stop, said the mouse. This is my house, and I like brown. Brown is nice, said Vincent. Sepia, sienna, umber, bronze. Stop, said the bat. This is my house, and I like black. There's the bat. Of course the bat likes black. Black is nice, said Vincent. Ebony, pitch, coal, jet, like jet black. Ooh, but actually this is my house. Look at all the other colors he has on his face now. And I like all the colors. Look at his house. Everyone was happy. Look at them all dancing. How much do you want a rainbow house? The end. Oh, look what they did in the background. Does that look familiar? It looks like Starry Night. And that is one thing you can do with your painting when you're done with your swirls and stars and moon. If you want to, ooh, I got paint everywhere, y'all. If you want to, you can draw a picture of yourself, or you can cut out a picture that you drew somewhere else. This one I cut out of Vincent's actual picture of himself, and you can stick it right onto your Starry Night. So it's kind of like Vincent's house, the picture in that book where his Starry Night was in the background. You can put anything in your picture that you want. So if you get finished with this and you really, really want to share it with us, send me a picture or share it with us on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter, and hopefully we will get it in time to be able to share it with everybody. How's that sound? Does anybody have any pictures they want to share with us?
No.
Not yet. You can always share it later. Oh, look at that. You guys.
The other side, the swirls.
They look amazing, you guys.
Mine isn't done finished.
Oh, no, you can definitely keep working on it. It needs time. These things always take time. Thea, that's a good one too. Ooh, these are so fabulous. Thank you so much for sharing those. And you guys, if you want to, you can join us next month. Next month, we are not going to be painting. We are going to be drawing, and you can bring whatever drawing materials you have. If you have lots and lots of them, bring all of them. I know, Miss Laura's excited. We are going to be talking about an artist that a lot of people don't even realize he was an artist. His name is Morse, as in Morse code. So if you've never heard of that before, just you wait. It's going to be super fun next month. We're going to have lots of dots and lots of dashes, and we're going to talk about secret codes. It'll be awesome. All right. Thank you all for joining us. Hopefully we will see you all next month. And in the meantime, come visit us at the Cedar Rapids Museum of Art. That way you can check out artwork on display right now. We have some really cool stuff up right now, and it's about to go away. So come see it before it leaves. All right. Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.